What's up, my brothers? Welcome back to the Victory Frame Coach Podcast. I am your host, Erasmo Soto. Today, it's episode 4. We're going to be talking about the universal truth and getting whatever it is that you want in life. I believe this episode is going to change your life if you understand it and apply it. I love talking about the universal truth, and it's really the first pillar of our program. It's one of the first things I teach some of my students. You're going to love this podcast. Now, there are a lot of universal truths out there, right? What I mean by universal truth is something that it's accepted by everybody. Everybody understands it, applies to everybody, all human beings. A personal truth is something true to you, but it may not be true to everybody else. But the universal truth is something that it's applicable to all human beings. Like the law of gravity, day and night, and the death. Everybody knows that every living thing must die. There are a lot of universal truth out there, truths that apply to all of us, right? But the universal truth that I'm talking about today, it's about how life works, right? It's very simple truth. So this is basically it. The universal truth is a circumstance that happens in your life. That circumstance is going to trigger a thought in your brain. That brain is going to create a feeling or an emotion. That emotion is going to drive an action, and that action is going to create a result in your life. Now, that result is going to reaffirm the initial thought you had about that circumstance, right? That's called confirmation bias. So pretty much that's how simple put, exactly how I said it. And if you can apply, if you can understand it, it is going to change your life. It changed mine, and hopefully it's going to change yours. And that's the first step of you building cognitive mastery, emotional ownership in our program. But also, just listening to this podcast, you can apply it in your everyday life if you really focus on understanding it and applying it, of course. Now, you're probably thinking after you heard that truth, like, okay, I hear you, I get it, I understand it. But I'm going to explain to you how it works, how can you apply it in everyday life, and also how can you misunderstand it as well. Some people think that, circumstances and thoughts are the same thing. I'm going to try my best to explain to you what exactly a circumstance is and give a synopsis of each of the 5 pillars of the universal truth, which are circumstance, thought, feeling, action, and result. So basically, a summary of how the 5 components of the universal truth works. Everything in our life is put into these 5 components. For the first part, circumstances, everything that happens to us is not under our control. It could be the weather, people, places, other people's opinions, behaviors, anything you cannot control. These are what's going on outside of our body, simply put. Thoughts is what's going on in our brain. What happens when the circumstance happens to us, we get a thought in our brain. And this is where we get to choose. This is where our power lies in. Purposely choosing our thoughts. This is where we take responsibility for our own circumstances, for what we can't control. This is where our power lies in. Now, following that, we're going to get a feeling. We're getting an emotion. It's vibrations in our body, our cells vibrating to a specific thought that engages us to feel that thing. Following that feeling, we're going to have a drive, a motivation to act on that feeling. These are our actions. And our actions are going to create a result. Whatever actions we choose is going to create a result. That result, the result in our life, is reaffirming the original thought we had about the circumstance. So simply put, that's exactly how the summary goes. And results are just evidence for exactly what you do, how you think, how you feel. And like I said before, thoughts is exactly where we get to choose, where we could take responsibility, and where the person with the alpha mindset and the beta mindset differ, right? The person with the alpha mindset understands the universal truth completely, and they use it to their advantage to get whatever they want out of life. Whereas the person with the beta mindset chooses to blame. They say this happened to them for that reason, because of this person, because of that person. And that's where they differ. People with the alpha mindset understand that everything that happens to them is for them, not to them. Whereas the person with the beta mindset, they feel like it's to them and not for them. This is where I teach my students, your power lies in choosing your thoughts. And the way we choose these thoughts is through a specific model. Now, before we go into that model, I want to talk about not blaming yourself for having this mindset of, hey, let me blame the next person. Let me not take responsibility. The very first step of all of this is to become self-aware. Self-aware of where your mind goes whenever the circumstances happens to you or happens for you, and exactly what thoughts you get to choose, and then the feeling that you get from it, and then the action that you get from that feeling, and the result that you get from that action that will initially reaffirm what you just thought. First thing is self-aware, right? Once you become self-aware, now it's your responsibility to choose thoughts that serve you, not blame, to be responsible, and to know that everything that happens to you is information for you to do things differently to get the results that you want. For the person with the beta mindset, there's a lot that they blame on, right? Oh, this happened to me in the past. I don't have money because of this. Or this person did this to me, so I did that. And then they get upset when they have the certain specific result in their life and nothing seems to be working for them. They seem to be always in a rut, always in a negative energy. If you understand the importance behind this universal truth of how life works, you can train your mind and reprogram your mind to get whatever it is you want in life. And it took me a while, but my purpose is to keep it simple. Like my mentor taught me, I want to teach it to you and use it to your advantage. Use it for what is worth. Use it for what you want it to be. You want to create that amazing relationship. Use it. You want to get that salary. Use it. You want that job. Use it. Anything you want in life. Now, also knowing this, you can use it for bad intentions, right? Understand that things happen for you, not to you. People use this for manipulation, use this for doing certain things to get what they want in life that involve mistreating other people. And again, everything is relative, right? Whether you mistreat me or mistreat somebody else, it all depends on the perception of the other person and what they feel is right or wrong. And so my suggestion is that there is a lot of power in understanding and applying this universal truth, so use it to your advantage. Use it to get anything you want out of life, especially bettering your life. Understanding and applying this universal truth creates empowerment. It gives you control over your destiny. It gives you control over your own thoughts, how to choose them wisely. It gives you empowerment to choose the emotions that's going to drive the actions. It's also going to get the results that you want. And in that control, you can take responsibility. You let people be who they want to be. You could be who you want to be without placing blame on anybody, yourself or another person. If this person wants to do this or wants to choose that route, that's on them. And it's not going to bother you because you're not going to choose the emotions that are not going to reflect the results in your life. And this is living in that alpha mindset way of letting people be, of respecting people for how they feel, respecting people for how they think, for what they do. Because at the end of the day, it's just a circumstance you can't control. Once you let that monkey off your back of thinking other people's behaviors and actions you can control or manipulate, everything seems seamless, perfect. You can think how you want to feel, how you want to feel. You can choose to do the things you want to do and ultimately getting the results that you want. Now, the universal truth is a powerful place to begin, right? Is the first step for you to get cognitive mastery and emotional ownership in our program. To know that life is beautiful, just the way it is. That dark place you're at, you get to appreciate it more. You see why you're there and why you put yourself there. It gives you the power to dig yourself out. This is what got me out of my depression and anxiety and got me to thinking that, hey, life is beautiful. Everything happens for a reason. Every day I will wake up and I will be excited for the rest of the day. Be excited for what the day is going to come. Be excited for what the day is going to bring to me. I want you to focus on how we apply the universal truth. And the way we do this is quite simple. We grab a piece of paper and write the letters C, T, F, A, and R. So C standing for circumstance, T standing for thought, F standing for feeling, A for action, and R for result. We place the circumstance on the top on one hand, and on the other hand, we have a second model of that sequence. And the first one is, okay, this is my circumstance. This is what I initially chose to think. This is what initially I chose to feel. This is the action I chose to do. And this is the result I have in life. On the other side, we put the same circumstance and then we reverse engineer it. We go back to the result that we want in our life. Now, that result that we want in our life, we have to choose an action that's going to lead to that result. From that action, we're going to choose a feeling that we want to drive that action. From that feeling, we're going to choose the thought that's going to make us feel this way. All right? Initial model of what happened to you and the result that you have. And then the secondary model with the same circumstance, we're going to reverse engineer. We're going to go from result all the way up to thought. And just simple as that. And the more you practice, you're going to get way better at it. At first, you're going to feel like, okay, this is just pretend. This is quote unquote not realistic. But believe me, this is exactly how I teach my students. This is exactly how I turned my life around. And now I don't even need a piece of paper. I could just do it from the top of my head. When I have a result in my life, I already know exactly what I did wrong, exactly what I did good. And I know whatever happens, whatever result I have, I take full responsibility for. If you want to change the results in your life, write it on the R line. If you want to change the actions that led to that result, write it on the A line. If you want to change the feeling that motivated that action, write it on the F line. If you want to change the thought that you got from that circumstance that is going to motivate that feeling, you write it on the T line. That's as simple as it gets. Through your subconscious and through your memories and through the actions that you've driven over the course of the years, obviously it's going to take practice. It's simple, but it's not easy. The more you practice, like playing basketball, just like shooting a free throw, just like playing baseball, practicing catching some grounders, just like anything in life, it takes practice. I challenge you to start practicing with the results you have in your life, at least 3 a day. Changing the R line, reverse engineering everything that has happened in your life. And then what were the possible results if you had you acted differently? What were the possible results if you have felt differently? What are the possible results if you have thought differently about that certain circumstance? And then from here on out, you know exactly what to do. You know exactly what to change. And you could be proactive about it. Now, the universal truth is happening whether you like it or not. It applies to all human beings. As we speak, I'm applying the universal truth. I'm talking to you guys in the camera. I want a certain result in my life, which is to change lives. So I'm acting on it by speaking through this mic. I have the feeling of motivation to act on the things that I need to do. And the initial thought process that I had about other people's behaviors and other people's results in their life is, hey, I would like to change other people's lives. That's what I'm doing now. You want a different result in your life. So you motivated yourself to act on this, to sit there and listen to this. It is constantly happening in everybody's life at every single moment. And so you have time and information to practice this truth. I challenge you to do that with past results and future-focused thinking that you're going to have from here on out. What are the results you want in your life moving forward? And the power lies in the present moment. Exactly what you're thinking, exactly what you're feeling, exactly what you're doing. So yeah, that's pretty much our model. It's the tool we use to kind of empower ourselves to take control of our own lives, our own destiny, to get everything that we want in our lives. And from this model, from the universal truth, in future episodes, we're going to go deep into each component of each step of the way of the model. Today, it's all about exactly how the universal truth works, give you examples on it, but then as future episodes come, we're going to talk about exactly what is the circumstance, exactly how to choose your thoughts, exactly your feelings and how to understand them, exactly your actions and what actions you can take and why actions are very important to get the results in your life, and also the results in your life and how we break it down, how we reverse engineer everything. All right. I'm going to give you 3 examples. Money, fitness and health, and dating. That's the trifecta of how we can use the universal truth to our advantage. What most men need help with: money, health and fitness, and dating. Everything else falls into those categories. Because that's really what we're looking for as men. We're looking for health, we're looking for wealth, and we're looking for sex. So that's our thing about men. That's what we're looking for constantly. Now, the first model we're going to use is about money. We're going to use a circumstance first. Our first circumstance, I have $1,000 in the bank. And let's say my bills are $2,500. Now, I want you to notice this circumstance is based on fact. There's nothing opinionated about this. This is a fact. I have $1,000 in my bank account. I have $2,500 on my bills. There's no thought behind it. It's really just neutral. Doesn't care about your feelings, doesn't care about your emotions. It's outside of your control. This is just a pure fact. This is what a circumstance is. It's just information outside of your control, outside of your body. You can look at your bank account and see there's $1,000 there. And then you can add up all your bills and say, okay, I have $2,500. It has no emotion. It's just a fact. We want to look at that. Okay, this is a circumstance. We won't be able to add to that bank account unless we get paid, right? So that's the only time where you can control it. But outside of that, this is information you have right now. Okay, I have $1,000 in the bank account, $2,500 on bills. At this moment, we cannot control the fact that you have $1,000 in the bank. Nor can we control that you have $2,500 as bills. But an initial thought can come to your head and say, oh my God, I'm going to have to foreclose on my home. That is a thought. And that is where you get to choose exactly what you think. I know what you're thinking, but that doesn't make sense because my bank account has less than what I owe. That is still a belief. Remember, this is something you cannot control, but it's a thought that came up in your brain. It is a sentence that may cause you to feel depressed. It may cause you to feel stressed. It may cause you to feel sad. From that emotion, it's going to drive an action. And that action could be that you actually do foreclose on your home. It could be that you lie on the couch, you get a little lazy, you start procrastinating. You don't want to think about that stuff, so you do everything in your power to not think about it. You eat, you be a slob, you don't go to the gym, you ruminate and create scenarios that are not there. And now that feeling is really going to drive that action to not do the things you have to do. And guess what? The result is going to be, okay, yeah, I probably will foreclose on my home. And so that result is reaffirming that original thought you had about the circumstance. You see what happened there? And I want you guys to see that the circumstance is just neutral. It does not care. But you can change that. You can change that thought. Now, the person with the alpha mindset understands this truth and is going to change that thought. How can I, instead of, oh, this is my fact, okay, this is what I'm going to think. How can I make more money? Okay, this is the result I want in my life. I want more money in my bank account. The action could be, on the A line could be, okay, I need to work more, or I need to open up a business, or I need to find different ways to make more money. That feeling that he gets is going to be feeling of motivation, feeling of drive. Even if he chooses to be sad or angry or whatever the case may be, you can use anger to drive that action, to create that result in your life. Any type of feeling that you want to create that result in your life. And the initial thought that he's going to have to create that feeling is, I think I can do much better than what I'm doing right now. I can get off this couch and do what I have to do to get more money. That's where your power lies. That's an example when it came to money. Now, fitness and health, which is very important for me. Let's say you weigh 300 pounds, right? You get on the scale says 300 pounds. That is a fact. The scale does not care about your emotions. It doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care about the way that you think. It says 300 pounds. It's a fact. It's neutral. The initial thought is that there's something wrong with me. I'm fat. I'm out of shape. And that is not true. That's just a belief that you have in your head. And once you choose that, the feeling that you get from it is feeling, again, sad, depressed, anxious, frustrated. That may lead to more laziness. That may lead to stress eating, to binge drinking, which is going to make the result in your life much worse. It's going to keep you there. And so if you flip the model and you reverse engineer it, and you want to lose 50 pounds, let's say you do, I want to go from 300 pounds to 250 pounds. These are the actions I need to take. The action is I need to fix my dieting, so I'm going to eat a lot better. And from that action, you need a feeling to drive it. Okay, you can use negative emotions, anger, frustration. You can even use positive emotions like excitement, motivation. From there, you can have that thought. You can choose the thought from that initial circumstance. When you see the 300 pounds in that scale, you're like, I think I could do much better than this. I think I can lose weight. I can be a fit person. And this is the way that you choose your thoughts. This is the way that you change the results in your life. Because when you get that result in your life, it's going to shoot up your confidence. It's going to reaffirm the original thought about that circumstance. The more you practice this is where you get to change your life. This is where you change your destiny. Now, this last example is about dating, right? And let's say you enter a bar and you see a beautiful woman sitting at the edge of the bar, reading a book by herself, having a drink. That's the circumstance. She's sitting at the bar, reading a book. That's a fact. You see it. She's right there, reading the book. That circumstance does not care about your feeling. It does not care about what you do, how you think. It's neutral. Your initial thought could be, she's way too hot for me, way out of my league. I'm not the type of guy to approach her. So the first thought is she's out of my league. Now that from that feeling, you're going to have self-doubt. You're going to have worry. You're going to have self-pity for yourself. And that feeling is going to drive an action. That action is possibly inaction. You're just going to freeze because you're afraid of rejection. You're not going to do anything. And that result is, okay, you're just not going to enjoy the company of that beautiful woman. And you're going to be by yourself. And so to reverse engineer it, let's say a person who thinks in the alpha mindset, who understands this universal truth, sees the same exact woman by the bar, reading a book, and his initial thought is like, well, I already know she's going to love me in the future. She just doesn't know it yet, right? That's the initial thought he has. So that thought is going to drive a feeling. That feeling is going to be feeling of empowerment, feeling of motivation, feeling of being romantic, which is going to drive that action to walk up to that woman, to say hello, and to strike a conversation, to make her laugh, to make her feel safe, to make her feel joyous about the company that she has with this person. That result is he's going to get that woman. And it's the same exact circumstance. The circumstance don't change. But the result proves that original thought that you had. One guy had one type of thought and the other person had another type of thought. It creates different results. But it's the same circumstance. The woman is at the bar reading her book. You see the power this universal truth has, where you can choose different thoughts to change the results that you have in your life. Now, I want you guys to practice this model, guys. Practice it as much as you can. Like I said before, through past experiences, through the future ones that are coming, and how you can change it. And there's different exercises that you can do. Then you can remove the fear of rejection. You can remove the fear of not being able to lose weight. You can remove the fear of not having enough money. And that's something we do in our program. In the future episodes, I'll explain how to do it. But your power lies in choosing your thoughts and knowing that circumstances are not your thoughts. It's completely neutral. It's outside of you. And the results that you have in your life is based on the thoughts that you chose from those circumstances. So it's very important that you guys understand this big problem that we have with men that have the beta mindset. And it's something that I chose to want to change because I changed it for myself. My mentor helped me change it for myself, and I would like to help you change it so we can become men of value. You can become a man of your word, because a man is not a man without his word or his balls. Because we're always looking to reinforce that beta mindset belief of that other people are creating our emotions, that are driving the actions, that are creating the results that we have in our lives. We always putting blame on somebody else instead of taking responsibility for the things that has happened to us. for the results in our life. Because that's how the mind works. It's called confirmation bias, and I'm going to explain in a future episode. Right now, understand that you have the power to change the results you have in your life, and it's the way that you think. Change the way that you think, and you're going to change everything that has been placed on you. All right, you don't have to believe in the universal truth. Just like you don't have to believe in the law of gravity. Just because you don't believe in it doesn't mean you're going to float away. It just is. It's applying to all of us. Just because you don't believe in night and day doesn't mean it's not going to be night and day. You know, there's a lot of people that think the earth is flat. A lot of people think the earth is round. It is what you believe. But all universal truths apply to us whether we like it or not. This is one of the truths I believe, I know, that applies to all of us. And it's best that you understand it so you can quickly apply it and you can quickly decide what type of life you want to live. You want to sit around and think that life is happening to you, or get up and know life is happening for you. The reason I bring this up is not a lot of people believe in the universal truth. As I explained it. Yeah, they believe it intellectually. They say, okay, yeah, I get it. But don't actually apply it. They still place blame on other people. I've seen it with my friends. I've seen it with my family. I've seen it in relationships that I've had in the past. Always placing blame on other people and thinking that other people's actions are driving other people to do other things. And they're placing blame and responsibility on other people for the things that has happened to them. I hear all the time, oh, this person did this and it made me feel this way. Nobody can make you feel any way without your permission. I've seen it on the news, all the fear they put out. Oh, this person did that, or that politician did this country did that, and we retaliated with this. It applies to all of us. Now, there's a paradigm shift you're going to feel when you start applying this universal truth. And you're going to start seeing how other people put so much blame on other people. It's kind of like the Matrix. You're going to see everything for what it is. And you're going to know why people do the things that they do, why they are motivated to act on certain things, why a person's results in their life is the way it is. And you're going to see it for yourself. And you're going to be like, wow, you know, this person is in that beta mindset. And again, just like you didn't blame yourself for thinking that way, don't blame them for it. They just are not aware of what they're doing, of how they're feeling, of what they're thinking. Your job is to do what you have to do for you. As you do what you do for you, it's also good to teach others to do the same, to see the light, just like you did, just like I did. And so that's what I have for you. I hope you understood exactly what I was trying to convey. But if not, I'll go into deeper detail on each 5 component of the model of the universal truth. And we're going to go deeper on how we choose our thoughts, how we're going to choose our feelings, what actions are going to drive the results that we want in our life. Until then, stay safe. And I challenge you to apply this to your past results, but also to the future, because that's what we look forward to, right? We do everything in our present moment to create the future. This is the first component of creating the results that we want in our life, creating that life that you always dreamed of. It takes you. It's just responsibility through you. Okay? All right, guys, that's enough for today. I'll see you in the next one.